Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anna Manuel. Netflix's reality show focusing on Corning's Museum of Glass has wrapped up its third season. Our Maggie Hall is at the museum where you can see some of the artists' creations.
The renowned Netflix show Blown Away has wrapped up their third season, and with it, the Corning Museum of Glass is unwrapping a new exhibit. Here at CMOG, you can see pieces from throughout the third season of Blown Away, as well as the illustrious finale-winning piece, Beside the Golden Door. Beside the Golden Door was created by Blown Away winner John Moran. John is a veteran in glass blowing, having done it for over 20 years. In the finale, John describes Beside the Golden Door, saying, "I wanted to use the serenity and sterility of the idyllic white space to create the atmosphere questioning the line between perception and reality. The glass cracks in the tile appear to break away to reveal bright mystical botanicals, what John describes as colorful elements of life." John and the other contestants work side by side with a team from the Corning Museum of Glass. The whimsical creations in the exhibit include warped Pyrex dishes, a tribute to Corning history, and a cow milkshake glass complete with udders. Winner John Moran will be in Corning November 9th through the 13th as a visiting artist to the museum. You can visit any of the Blown Away Season 3 creations now at the Corning Museum of Glass. Maggie Hall, Big Fox News, Corning.
New York State Police are looking for two people who scammed an Owego convenience store out of thousands of dollars. According to state police, two people confused a Speedway gas station clerk through a number of transactions that resulted in the pair stealing over $3,500. According to Owego troopers, the pair was involved in a similar scam in Broome County earlier that evening. The suspects have yet to be caught, and police are asking anyone with information to alert the police. Community hygiene pantries have come to Bradford County. The pantries include soap, shampoo, toothpaste, baby cream, toilet paper, and other essentials. The pantries are outside and available to the public 24/7. To learn more about the pantries and how you can contribute, or to find a location, you can contact the Community Hygiene Pantry Facebook page. New York State is set to approve an alternative burial process. Big Fox's Josh Feldberg explains the new method.
Traditional burials are no longer the most common practice for honoring the dead. The National Funeral Directors Association estimates that cremation will soon account for more than 50% of all burials. However, there are negative environmental impacts of cremation, causing some to look for a new burial process. New York is set to become the sixth state to approve an alternate burial process to cremation and traditional burials known as natural organic reduction. The process has already been approved in Washington, Oregon, California, Colorado, and Vermont. Natural organic reduction involves bodies being kept in specialized above-ground containers with biodegradable materials that allow the body to decompose into a nutrient-dense soil mixture that can be used for composting. The decomposition process takes around 30 days and can produce approximately 1 cubic yard of compost. The idea came from a Seattle-based company called Recompose. The basis behind the process is that it's an ecologically friendly way to celebrate the end of one life with the start of new life. A former physician who supports the process, Wes Dingman, stated, "That is how it was long before we humans invented a whole bunch of things like embalming fluid." Both the state assembly and Senate passed versions of the bill approving the process. Governor Hochul now can make the decisive decision which would allow cemeteries to offer natural organic reduction as a burial option. Josh Feldberg, Big Fox News, Corning.
A beloved community tradition is set to return for a 16th year this Thanksgiving. Registration is now open for the annual Guthries Sayre Turkey Trot. The Turkey Trot is a 5K run that sees almost 1,000 runners every year. The course runs through the streets of Sayre and Athens in an effort to help raise money for Guthries Cancer Care Fund. Sign-ups are available on Guthries' website. We are just a few weeks away from the highly competitive midterm elections. Early voting has begun, even though some voters remain undecided. Lauren Blanchard has the latest on the campaigns across the country.
They're off to the polls in Georgia as early voting has begun in the Peach State. It's time for us to stand up, wake up, and get up.
A closely divided race could determine control of the Senate, while Monday night the gubernatorial candidates there were set to square off on the debate stage.
So I'm really hoping that they really bring it back down to earth and start talking to the citizens.
While eyes are on Georgia, there are other close races that could decide power in Washington. Democrats are hoping the fight for abortion rights will help their candidates.
That's not my decision. It's certainly not Dr. Oz's decision. That is for every woman between her and her doctor.
Party leaders have also weighed in. Former President Trump has held rallies and fundraisers. President Biden holding policy-focused events with a scoop of politics.
How are you feeling about Democrats' chances here?
I think she's going to win. I really do.
But Democrats are concerned about the president's approval ratings. The latest Fox News poll shows a 62% disapproval on the economy, 67% disapproval on inflation. A New York Times Siena poll generic congressional ballot shows voters now prefer Republicans to Democratic candidates by 4 points.
If voters are going to the election on November 8th and have a hard time paying for gas or paying for food that day, that's going to, be front of mind for them.
Former President Obama will hit the campaign trail this month. He'll be helping candidates in Georgia, Michigan, and Wisconsin. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
New York City opening new shelters and expecting to spend $1 billion to help support the thousands of migrants who have been bussed into the city from southern states. New York City Mayor Eric Adams declaring a state of emergency earlier in October as the city's shelter system struggles to accommodate the influx of migrants. Other relief groups have stepped up to help welcome the people arriving in New York. Alexander Rappaport is leading the Maspia Soup Kitchens Network. That's a nonprofit working to provide basics like shoes and food to those in need.
And the idea is we went over to the Port Authority and brought them socks and shoes just to change the mood, give them back their dignity the first step they come down to New York soil.
An estimated 17,000 migrants have arrived in New York since April. The National Weather Service has declared a freeze warning for Tioga County. The warning will go until 9 a.m. tomorrow. Sub-freezing temperatures in the upper 20s to lower 30s are to be expected. People are advised to bring plants and pets inside for the night to prevent against frost damage. Your complete workweek forecast is next. Plus this.
Most steaks are cooked somewhere between rare and well done, but what about 3D printed steaks? I'm Ashley Strohmeyer with a look at why one unique product is popping up at restaurants around the world coming up.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
After a week of some mild temperatures, we are looking at a cooler weather trend as we step through this week. Now, we did stay under some of those gloomier skies. Temperatures struggled to climb within those 50s, just touching up maybe a few isolated 60s. But what we're seeing that is as we continue through the overnight, under some clearer skies, we are watching temperatures fall near that freezing mark. So we're going to continue to watch the end of the growing season happen, not only for our area, but much of the continental United States. We're seeing some cool air drop through areas that typically don't see these temperatures this time of the year. Now, it's typical for us to drop into the 30s. Towards that freezing mark is a little below average, so you may note some of those frost or freeze headlines in place due to this potential. But we are looking at to see some areas of sunshine as we head into our Tuesday forecast. There's still, though, going to be some cloud cover that is going to be passing on through. What we're seeing is that there's a dominant low pressure system across the Great Lakes, and that's going to continue to swing in times of some cloudier spells, as well as continue to allow for some cooler conditions. But Tuesday is going to allow for at least some morning sunshine as well as some lighter winds before we'll bring back in some light rain showers as we head throughout our Wednesday forecast. Not expecting much, but it's going to bring back in some breezy conditions as another frontal system is expected to swing on through. But that is going to bring a turnaround in the forecast. As we head towards the weekend, we are expected to bring back some sunshine and some mild fall-like temperatures. So if you're still looking to try to find some time to get outdoor this fall before the winter scenery takes over, there is some time in our forecast.
some good news ahead. Now, as we trend throughout our Tuesday forecast, note that we start off into those 30s and we'll hold within those 40s. So even cooler than what we were experiencing today. And we'll note that there will be at times some sunshine though, but it's not going to feel too comfortable with those temperatures below average into those 40s. And even looking at, we might top off into those lower 50s, which would keep us about 10 degrees below that average. Areas like Westfield and even Wellsboro, though, holding in those 40s and low 40s at that. So there will be some areas of some brisk weather. As we step into that Wednesday forecast, we'll see that temperatures, again, not much improvement, and we're going to see some more increasing cloud cover, more of those overcast skies similar to today, breezier winds, and the chance for precipitation. Now, precipitation isn't looking to equate to much. We're looking at just a few hundredths of an inch possible. So it is going to be very light, very isolated. The more dominant pattern is going to be talking about those cooler conditions due to those winds in place. And we'll see that we'll have some stronger winds even possible on Thursday, as that's going to give us a switch in the weather pattern. So as we have wind gusts up to about 25 to 30 miles per hour on Thursday, we'll start to bring back some sunshine. We'll hold still below average at 51, as we remember average is about these lower 60s, but we should be back up at least closer to average on Friday, and then could be above average with a quiet weather pattern as we head into the weekend. Could even see that we could have a few high temperatures flirt with that 70-degree threshold, which should hold on as we step into next work week.
Steaks come in numerous different ways, from rare to well done, but now steaks can even be 3D printed. Ashley Strohmeyer has a look at these new plant-based alternatives that are turning heads.
3D printed steaks could soon be coming to a dinner table near you. But vegetarians and vegans have nothing to fear because this protein is all plant-based. Israeli company Redefined Meat is behind this tasty tech-savvy invention. The company's 3D printer called Angus can pump out several different types of steaks, letting workers customize their weight, tenderness, and more.
I can define the amount of marbling, the internal fat or the external fat.
The machine prints between 3 to 4 slabs in roughly 20 minutes. Those slabs are then sliced into individual steaks. Company officials expect more people around the world to start choosing plant-based meat alternatives for health and environmental reasons, and are ramping up production.
We have the factory in Israel and the factory in the Netherlands already producing over several tons a day. And during this year, we're increasing our capacity to reach a total volume of over 15 tons a day.
Researchers, meantime, are busy studying the elements of real meat to constantly improve their product.
We study the texture, the chewiness, the tenderness, the juiciness, all the properties that give meat this sensory experience. And then we know how to mimic it in our meat.
The steaks are currently available at nearly 1,000 restaurants across Germany, Israel, and the Netherlands, as well as the UK. Each cut of steak will cost about $20 per pound. Redefined Meat also makes plant-based burgers and sausages. Its products are expected to launch in France, Italy, Greece, and Sweden by the end of this year. Officials expect launches in dozens of other countries sometime in 2023. Ashley Strohmeyer, Fox News.
Toys R Us launches more than 400 stores in Macy's locations, and Uber gets into the weed delivery business. CJ Papa has those stories and more in today's Business Briefs.
Toys R Us is launching 451 stores inside Macy's department stores just in time for the holiday season. Macy's and the iconic toy chain began their partnership last year, allowing the retailer to make a comeback. New locations for the store already beginning to pop up, including one in New York City's Herald Square. The revival comes after the toy store went bankrupt in 2017, forcing the closure of all locations. Uber Eats is getting more than food to its Toronto-based users. The company now delivering pot in Toronto. Uber says it will make sure users who order marijuana through its app are of legal age. An Uber official says the new program will help combat the illegal marijuana market in Toronto. And Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is acquiring social media app Parler. Ye saying in a statement, quote, "In a world where conservative opinions are considered to be controversial, we have to make sure we have the right to freely express ourselves."
Parler needs Ye in many ways because Parler needs its brand to expand, and I think Ye is very interested in expanding his social media presence.
The purchase comes after Ye was locked out of his Twitter and Instagram accounts for making anti-Semitic comments. The acquisition is expected to close later this year. That's business. I'm CJ Papa.
Walmart-owned Sam's Club is raising its membership fees for the first time in almost a decade. The membership-based chain of club stores says its annual regular fees will go up from $45 to $50, and its plus-level fees will go up $10 to $110. The fee hikes are its first increases in 9 years. Sam's Club says it will give back the price increases in memberships by way of Sam's Cash that can be used in stores. The coronavirus pandemic, inflation, and fuel discounts at its club stores have helped to drive up its memberships. Still ahead, you could be paying double for your Uber ride if the Biden administration reclassifies drivers as employees with benefits. We'll have the full story coming up. Gig workers like Uber and Lyft drivers could soon be reclassified as full-time employees. President Biden's plan would give those workers more benefits, but as Susan Lee reports, that's bad news for riders.
If this new gig worker law goes into effect, Uber is estimated that customers will have to pay 20 to 120% more per ride. So we looked at a few studies and surveys on gig workers, and only 9% of the working population say that they have done any gig work in the past 12 months, according to a Pew study. A majority of those see themselves as independent contractors, 2/3 in fact, and so do most of the customers who use the services like Uber and Lyft. The majority of gig workers do what they say to supplement their incomes. Only 1/3 say it's their main source of income. More than half of gig workers say they do it because they like the flexibility to work and earn when they want and when they have time. Both Lyft and Uber say that this is why the new proposal to try to reclassify drivers, delivery folks, as employees with benefits instead of independent contractors is a mistake in their view. So in survey after survey, this is a statement from Lyft. They say in state after state, many drivers say that they choose this work because of the independence and the flexibility that it provides. Federal policymakers should listen. Now, Uber telling us that it's crucial that the Biden administration continues to hear from the more than 50 million people who have found an earning opportunity with a company like ours. But the Labor Department says that they will consider debates on this possible policy change for the next 45 days and then decide. Remember, in California, the AB5 initiative to try to reclassify these independent contractors as employees was struck down. In New York City, Susan Lee, Fox Business.
The global response to the coronavirus pandemic, polio, mental health, and more, all coming under fire at the World Health Summit, with United Nations officials warning of dire consequences if countries don't increase cooperation to combat these health crises. Richard Jordan reports.
Countries are failing to cooperate and tackle global health issues. That's according to the United Nations and World Health Organization officials, kicking off this year's World Health Summit Sunday in Germany.
At exactly the moment when the world needed to come together to face this common threat as one, the COVID-19 pandemic has been characterized by a lack of cooperation and coordination.
Besides COVID-19, officials also citing how a lack of international teamwork is causing more lives to be lost from preventable diseases like polio, especially in developing nations like Afghanistan and Pakistan where polio is endemic. Billionaire philanthropist Bill Gates highlighting the severity of the issue Sunday while announcing the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation will donate $1.2 billion to help end polio worldwide.
It's horrifying to see children paralyzed by a disease that's totally preventable. Polio is a stark illustration of health inequity.
Meanwhile, summit officials also declaring the importance of not sweeping mental health disorders under the rug. And back here in the States, health professionals are echoing those calls, citing how untreated mental illnesses like bipolar disorder, depression, and schizophrenia have negative economic effects, costing the country billions.
These costs come primarily from premature losses of life and losses of productivity, as well as the increased medical costs for things like chronic conditions and emergency department visits.
Richard Jordan, Fox News.
Stay with us. We'll have more right after this. We want to leave you with a smile. A rare pear-cut yellow diamond is unveiled at Sotheby's in Dubai. The golden canary is just over 303 carats, making it one of the world's largest cut diamonds. Of course, all that sparkle comes with a steep price tag. It's valued at about $15 million. The stone, in its rough original form, was found in the Democratic Republic of Congo in the 1980s. Before going up for auction in New York City on December 7th, the diamond is making a world tour with stops in several major cities. I'm Scott Beadle. Thank you for watching.